Look, y'all, everybody watching, nobody thinking. It's nonstop news, nonstop social media. Everybody's reacting. Nobody's slowing down to ask what they're not saying. Let's talk about it. You got to start thinking about when it comes to, you being a creator, you got to think about ownership. Ownership is really the key. Like that portion it's been the key for forever. And for whatever reason, a lot of content creators think, hey, I go out and make this money. They don't think about taxes, but maybe I got to pay taxes on this money now. Okay, I got the taxes. Man, I just got to make more money. Not realizing you're earning income personally. So when you go out and earn more income personally, you're going to pay more taxes. It's just the nature of the beast, right? But when you are going into it as a business owner and you're thinking about ownership, the business is going to conduct business. The main difference in between the two as a creator that's earning an income, right? You're going to pay taxes first, then your expenses later. If you go into it as a business ownership, the business is going to have business expenses first and then taxes. You get it? So it's one of those things where your mindset really just need to shift on what's important to you, number one, because that's a part of doing what you love, right? But number two, but really not second to it, how am I going into this? Am I going into this as an employee or am I going into this as an owner? We praise a lot of employees, which we should give them the praise because they're the hardest working people on this planet. But with a little bit of the shift of the way that you think and you start thinking ownership, you can turn that into a whole nother world, y'all. A whole nother world. It was so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine and I'm not gonna say the person's name who he was talking about, but he was calling this person wealthy. And I was like, when did we start calling employees wealthy? And maybe that's a real thing, but when did that happen? Like, this person works for this corporation. This is the owner of that corporation. This owner pays that salary to that employee. They get a paycheck every pay period. How are we calling employees wealthy? And it makes people feel good to hear that about themselves, sure. But the truth of the matter is that it's a part of the way we think. And when we think that employees are wealthy, it's gonna taint how we go into certain situations. So when we start to shift the way we think about these different things, man, it can make a world of difference. And that's really what you want. You want to be able to make a world of difference with the way you're going into ownership. Because the truth of the matter is the only purpose of money is to make money. It don't have any other purpose, y'all. And I will tell you, I was in banking for 20 years. I never understood it. I didn't understand money until I left. And when I started looking at it from a ownership perspective and dealing with money from an ownership, looking through the lens from an ownership perspective, man, everything changed. Everything changed. It changed because every dollar that I started to put out, it had a job versus let me pay that bill. Let me pay this bill. Let me pay that bill. Each dollar had a job. And its job was to go out there and bring me more of it back. Now, I'm not wealthy. I'm not rich. I'm not none of those things. I'm an in-between blessing type of guy. It just is what it is. But I'm also not stressed. I'm also not thinking about how I'm going to pay a light bill or a phone bill anymore. I'm not thinking about those things because I look at money in a different way. And it does take time to look at it that way because it's not ultimately about, hey, becoming rich or becoming wealthy. It's not really necessarily about that. It is more around how do I put my family in a position where I can protect them, I can provide for them, and I can look at, when I'm going, giving my children's children a head start on life. That's why it's important to think ownership. That's why it's important to put systems into place because you want to be able to give that head start that we didn't necessarily have. And that's the part where it becomes interesting. And it can get very, very, very interesting when you start to dig into all of those different things, because the truth of the matter is that all of us have the ability to create these things, but you have to be able to think, you got to be able to research, and you got to be able to take action. If you can do those three things, man, it can really be game on. Look, y'all, I'm only scratching the surface over here. I go deeper on the full episode. It's on Zabo 103 TV. Head over there to Zabo103TV.com. Check it out now.